We welcome you to Dallas as we have arrived to crown a champion and along with it an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. On the campus of SMU, as it would pan out, the 5-seed Mustangs playing their 4th consecutive day of tennis with looking for another upset in their way, the 26th ranked Tulsa Golden Hurricane. Hi everyone, Lincoln Rose along with Mark Bay here on the American Digital Network. And Mark, we talk about a red-hot 5-seed in SMU. You talk about a team that has won 3 matches in 3 days. They're going to need to now win a 4th, but they're on a 9-match winning streak. In fact, they haven't lost since they lost to Tulsa back 10 matches ago.
It's an amazing concept. These conference championships have had a lot of Cinderella at the end. Obviously, USF winning last year as a very low seed, and now the home team, for the first time hosting here, SMU, has this spirited crowd and obviously an indoor enclosed place. Hopefully it's going to actually get so raucous in here that could possibly help them create an upset.
Of course, Tulsa now in their 4th consecutive final. They've won 2 American tournament titles, looking for a 3rd in 4 years. Haley Outen, our 3rd member of our broadcast team, had a chance to catch up with both head coaches shortly after their victories yesterday.
Haley Outen joined by Tulsa head coach Dean Orford. Coach, congratulations on this win in the semifinal. After dropping the doubles point, what was your message to the team?
Well, you know, I thought we didn't really compete as well, and that we just spoke about competing. We had no room for error after that, and every person had to kind of not make one point go easy. So, and that's what they did. Even the matches that we didn't do as well, I felt like they really grounded out, which is key for us. And so that was my message, just the competing part of it.
You were victorious against Wichita State earlier this season. What allowed you to pull away with the win again today?
Well, you know, they're a very deep, good, well-coached team. So we beat them, I think, 6-1, 7-0. But I even spoke to Colin after the match, and I said, I know what we'll be facing in conference, and, you know, you guys will be ready. And yes, they were obviously ready. Very talented, too. So it was a dogfight.
You'll take on the 5-seed SMU in the final, who you also met earlier this season. How does that familiarity play a role going into this final?
You know, we played them on a neutral site down in Louisiana, and it was a very tight match, so I think it's a 50-50 deal. I think it should be great to come and watch. It'll be a very competitive battle. But yeah, I think we match up well. I mean, every position is going to be tight.
Heading back to the final after falling last year, how much does that play in terms of the motivation this team has to come out on the other side of it this time around?
There's a lot of new faces on this team. We've got 4 new faces out of the 8, but it's burned into my memory. There's a few I can particularly remember, certain shots even that cost us the deal. But yeah, it's a new year, a new group, and we're battling hard.
Good luck in the final, Coach. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you much.
Haley Outen joined by SMU head coach Kati Ulai. Coach, congratulations on this win in the semifinal. After dropping the doubles point, what was your message to the team heading into singles?
Again, same message as yesterday. Again, we don't have very long speeches in between. It was a close race, we knew it, and we were ready to battle.
After falling to UCF earlier this year, what was different today?
So we played them very early in the season, and I think at that point we were still trying to figure things out, who's going to play where. We had a couple of injuries. We really didn't play a full lineup. I think most important thing for us was to see UCF, and it gave us about 2 months to prepare.
Who impressed you the most today from your team?
I mean, look, great team effort. Great team effort. I think I'm impressed by everyone. I really can't single anyone out, of course. Yesterday, Lisa Booth clinched. Today, Lika clinched. I mean, phenomenal. Down on court 6, Tiffany Holleback to come back in the lineup. Outstanding.
5-seed heading to the conference tournament final. Where is the confidence level of this group at right now?
It's very high. I mean, of course, we're going all the way. We're very happy right now, but our goal is to win it. And so we got another one to go tomorrow.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck in the final.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Again, great to hear from both accomplished coaches. Let's take a look at their lineups for what will be the doubles point in contention first. As you have followed college tennis for the past few years, you'll be very familiar with the format in today's championship. Number 1, number 2, number 3. So often this has been such an important point, but Mark, both of these teams dropped the doubles point in the semifinals.
They absolutely did and had to go for the hard way. With a final I like to think that the doubles point can actually be a difference maker tonight. So hopefully, with all the script from yesterday, will maybe be different in the final.
So this right here in front of us is #1 doubles on court 1. As we are inside the Brookshire Family Pavilion, we are indoors because of rain earlier today. In fact, that's the reason for our later start. Of course, the men's tournament also underway here on campus. They had to be moved indoors. We do expect the weather to clear up and allow for us to be outside to showcase the rest of this venue in Dallas with the men. So doubles 2. And again, for those of you who are casual viewers, in the doubles, we do have 3 courts underway. You'll just play 1 set. First to 6 games. We'll capture that court. Back over to #1 singles. And of course, first to take 2 courts here in the doubles. We'll capture the doubles point. We would move on to singles, where each singles court is worth a point. First to take a full 4 points, whether that includes the doubles point or not, will be your champions with the automatic bid.
And in doubles, they're looking to try to get involved, have the net person make some high volleys. Karina Traxler there with a nice post to help her partner out. And that's important. You see, trying to get involved, have a net player getting a touch and possibly putting the ball away whenever it's high and above net level. Outside, sometimes with the wind and the conditions, it's a little bit more difficult to sneak and cut across. For sure, in the indoor environment today, shouldn't be as much of a condition challenge. There should hopefully be more movement from the up players.
Again, here is a Mustangs group that had only won 3 conference matches all year, and they matched that over the last 3 days. They will be expected to beat more American tennis programs over a 4-day stretch if they want that automatic bid to the NCAA tournament than they did throughout the season. Now, we'll point out the American does not play a complete schedule in conference play. They base their seeding off of the ITA rankings entering this final week.
Yeah, but Tulsa coming in at number 26 and SMU actually being ranked somewhere in the low 60s, I think. They're mathematically, just even with losing, with the 3 wins they've had and losing tonight, I don't think you would get it done. The at-large cut for an NCAA draw is often in the low 40s, somewhere between 42 and 44. So the job that they've done, although it's been outstanding and commendable, is probably not enough. They have to actually get the job done here today and win this to be in the NCAA tournament.
And it's a shame, again, for SMU. They had 4 transfers come in after graduating 3 talented seniors a year ago. Really radically altered this lineup from last year's team that went 17 wins to 8 losses. And as a result, there's a bit of a learning curve involved, but once SMU has clicked now over the past couple of months, they've been a completely different program. And of course, it was predetermined they would be your host site this year with this great facility that was opened back in 2015. It's not because they are the higher seed. We saw Tulsa host a couple of years ago, same year that they would go on to host the national championships. American with a lot of great venues to feature, including last year as well with the USTA facility that UCF calls home in Orlando.
Yeah, there's a new rotation, Lincoln, and apparently the facility in Lake Nona will receive it every other year. So then it actually only opens up a couple other facilities to be qualified. And at this point, SMU and Tulsa are those. So the next time they'll come here, so SMU won't be until 2024. So it'll be here, and then next year it'll be at Lake Nona again. And then that'll be followed by going to Tulsa, and then Lake Nona, and then eventually back here again.
Take a look at number 2 doubles. And for Tulsa, you talk about a group of Kloner as well as Popey. Over the past couple of days, They won their court once, went unfinished the other time. No losing decision this week. Kloner, a sophomore out of Italy, while Popey, the freshman out of the Netherlands. Popey will have a birthday coming up in a few days. As right now,
important they have a little bit of communication. Doubles is key. Actually have a plan. Often the point can take a lot of different turns as the thing gets going, but before the actual huddle, if you will, similar to football, is rather common when you actually watch a high-level doubles team play.
we jump over to number 3 doubles at the moment. Tulsa with a 2-game lead here in this set. It is 15-all at the moment here in the 3rd game. Of course, they probably had a pretty good idea coming into today they'd be playing the indoor game. How does that change things for these student athletes?
Often it actually helps the teams with bigger first serves and the teams that obviously have maybe a little bit better net game. But talking to both coaches, it appears that today's not going to be that big of a difference. Both teams are rather even relative to their players' abilities indoors and outdoors.
You saw assistant coach for Tulsa, Linka Brusova, and now head coach Dean Orford coming over. You saw an SMU assistant say, let's go ahead and speed things up here. Tulsa with a slight edge on both number 1 and number 3 doubles. SMU trying to take a 2-game-to-1 lead on number 2 doubles.
It's well done. And that's a common theme you'll see on a lot of points that happen on the ad side. The deuce side often has a little bit more initial crossing, and the ad side points end up having a longer ground stroke exchange until one player sort of dominates that exchange. And then as you see there, the opportunity for the high put-away finish.
In Tulsa, 2-time champion in the American, their 4th straight year here. They were just short of claiming that automatic bid last year in Orlando. They were perfect against conference opponents this year, going 5-0, part of a 20-win season so far to just 5 losses. Whereas last year bumped from the NCAA tournament in the first round against LSU. And no response there from the Mustangs. As another game for the Golden Hurricane. So Tulsa up 3 games to none on number 3 doubles. Currently up 2 games to none on number 1 doubles and trailing 2 games to 1 on number 2 doubles. We take you back over to the pairing for number 1 doubles. Again, this is where Tulsa leads 2 games to none, and
it's a big game here. Traxler is serving, trying to keep her serve low, trying to hit it more down the middle and into the body so possibly she can get her partner involved. But really important to try to avoid being down 3-love on 2 courts in a match like this.
yeah, down 2 games. It's 15 serving 40. And Tulsa will watch SMU linger a little bit longer here. SMU can try to capture its first game right now. 30 serving 40. Remember, no ad. Could be 2 points away from pulling back within a game.
But as you can see, it's a longer exchange on this side until someone feels comfortable to possibly make a move. So it's a much longer. That ground stroke set up an opportunity for the overhead. Now there's a challenge on the net player. Great choice on the lob.
Can Tulsa take a 3-game lead?
No.
SMU, who will have a chance on this next point to claim its first game on #1 singles. And you hear the slightly less than impartial crowd here in Dallas.
Yeah, this is an amazing facility. The effort was several millions of dollars in terms of money raised and then money obviously used by the facility. An amazing top 2, 1, 2, 3. I mean, depends on who's rating facility here. It has not just stands, but it has VIP areas, elevators. I mean, just extensive locker room space. This is from all of the different college venues that I've gone to, one of the best I've ever seen.
Again, this is #2 doubles where SMU is up 2 games to 1 and serving 40-30. Another serve coming up. I mentioned Tulsa was able to put away that 3rd game back on #1 doubles. They lead 3 games to none. So Tulsa up 3 games to none, both on 1 and 3 doubles. SMU with the slight edge here on #2, but Tulsa has now just brought themselves within a point here in no ad on Deuce to pull it 2 games apiece. SMU tandem of Tiffany Hullabeck along with Shapovalova. So again, Tulsa was able to survive the comeback effort from SMU to go up 3 games to none.
A lot of experience with Matula and Luskova on this team, and they've clearly been I think an aggressive mixture of offensive ground strokes and forehand volley crossing, throughout this tournament. It's always a big statement when you're able to not just win a doubles point, but possibly have your top players winning. Sends a message that sort of our best is better than your best at the top positions.
And just wide. 15 all in the 4th game. Tulsa leading 3 games to none on #1 doubles.
And it's an interesting setup the way the courts work. So looking from this vantage point, you're seeing #3 doubles right in our left of our screen, #1 doubles in the middle, and if you really look, there's Ploner at 2 doubles serving all the way to the bottom of the graphic. So it's 1 in the middle, 3 on the left, and 2 on the right.
If there is a stray ball from one court that drifts into another, it'll be a let, as determined by our chair. And we just saw a ball play off of the rafters And ultimately out of play.
But it's a 45-foot ceiling, state-of-the-art lights. This is one, you know, the light system is arguably one of the best in the entire country for an indoor facility. Talking with men's coach Carl Neufeld, he kind of walked me through all the different avenues here and they have not pulled any stops, and they're continuing to add upgrades. He was actually having meetings yesterday with more IT staff to make this place yet, you know, even more formidable.
As court 3 looks like it's going to be the first to fall the way of Tulsa. Right now up 5-0, just potentially 4 points away from taking the court. Again, doubles courts are not worth a full point. You must take 2 of the 3 to take the doubles point. When we get into singles, all 6 courts will be worth a point. And first team to capture 4 points will capture the American title here in 2018.
That's a great serve by Ploner.
This is number 2 doubles, where SMU is leading 3-1.
Unique situation there where it was 2 backhand volleys in the middle, so both players were a bit hesitant in terms of committing and seeing who was going to take it.
3-1. It is deuce. Tulsa's serve with a chance here in no ad to pull back within a game. SMU, on the other hand, could go up 4-1. And a fault. Second chance here for Tulsa. And ranked 26th in the most recent poll. That's a double fault. Give SMU its 4th game, 4-1. Mustangs, the bright spot on number 2 doubles. But Tulsa now potentially 3 points away from closing out court number 3. And right now, you're looking at number 1 doubles, where Tulsa leads 3-1. SMU with the combination of Monterez, Yasaki, and Traxler. They have 1 win this week through 3 days, a couple of losses in their other 2 decisions. But we mentioned the doubles point just has not given a clear indication of how it's going to play out. As is often been the case, even on the men's side of the bracket this week, we've seen several teams come back from dropping the doubles point.
That's a good job. And Traxler there just being comfortable to stand in the middle and look to receive the ball. Just the positioning there was more important than anything, coming out of the eye and wanting the ball there. It wasn't her best volley per se, but it's easier to try to create a little bit of an angle when you're that close to the net.
Monterez Yasaki out of Monterrey, Mexico, the sophomore. Traxler out of Rockwall, Texas, a transfer from Baylor, where she was all Big 12 in doubles last year, or making the hour and a half trek up from Waco to now her new home of Dallas. See the score for the court at the top of your screen, as it is 3-1 for Tulsa here on number 1 doubles. The Golden Hurricane leading 30-15 here in this 5th game.
That same situation. Serving down the tee with Traxler looking for the ball, not being able to get it away from her.
Rena Traxler, I mentioned, transfer from Baylor, has been so strong on the singles side as well. She'll play number 1 singles. Jump next door to number 2 doubles, where SMU, with the distinct advantage of 4 games to 1 and a point away from making it 5 games to 1 here. After serving 30 love. And Mustangs cannot put it away there.
That was the right choice. She just didn't physically move forward on the volley. Actually, from our vantage point, it's hard to tell, but she was contacting that slightly below net level. And as the ball drops, it's more difficult to obviously put it away with authority.
Serving 30-15, up 4 games to 1.
Often, as you'll see, they may run an I formation play on the first serve, but if you miss the first serve because the second serve is weaker, they'll actually change back to a standard formation.
There's that second serve.
And that's smart choice. They're playing the underspin lob over the net, girl. And now with her Ploner being left-handed, she had to take that as a backhand volley and was not able to get a job done. This goes for the swing volley, ends up taping it.
So SMU will be serving 40-15.
Triple game point.
In court 3, number 3 doubles already locked up by Tulsa. They only need 1 of the 2 remaining courts.
And it's a 5-1 lead, which obviously means after number 3 doubles with 6 love to Tulsa, if they can actually seal the deal here and actually get this number 2 doubles done with the crowd, you bring all the attention back to number 1, and you hope that your number 1 team and an actual great crowd support can possibly get the job done there.
We'll mention next door, number 1 doubles tight. Tulsa leads 3 games to 2. Have yet to start the 6th game. In Tulsa with the tandem of Ploner and Poppy here. Popey, I should say, on number 2 doubles. They beat Memphis. Did not finish against Wichita State in the semifinals. You talk about the gauntlet it has been for both of these programs to get here. Of course, that nationally ranked matchup yesterday in one half of the bracket between Tulsa and Wichita State, whereas SMU, after knocking off the 4 seed in the quarterfinals, had to knock off the number 1 overall seed yesterday in UCF. SMU has played 1 more match this week. They did not get an opening round bye as the 5 seed. Tulsa is the number 2 seed, did not have to start until the quarterfinals.
There's a lot to be said for that. Even in these clinch moments, and for those that are not familiar, in a normal regular season match, they may actually play the match to completion and let everyone finish, but in a conference tournament, they will stop the tennis the moment one team receives 4 points, and that ultimately can try to save the children's bodies. When very rarely do they have to play well, they would never really play 3 successive matches in a row. It's often just 2 matches a weekend. So to have to play 4 matches, 4 consecutive days is a tall task, even for kids at this age and at this fitness level.
It's called long, which is going to give Tulsa, I believe it's 2nd game. SMU leads on court 2, 5-2 now. And the only court underway at the moment, as number 2 doubles takes a rest, is over here on number 1 doubles, where Tulsa has a 4-2 lead in this lone doubles set.
Again, the format used to be 8 games, which gave you a lot more room to come back, but 6 games and no ad. It's a real small, compressed competition.
We expect that this will be the clinching court. And right now, that advantage for Tulsa. SMU serving 15 love.
Nice good choice. And it's common that a baseline player will take some shots up the line just to keep the net player honest, but also see if she's able to handle. And in this case, no problem.
Mustangs took the doubles point against Temple, but USF and UCF both had to enter singles play down a point. We talk about Tulsa has been in the finals now 4 straight years. SMU the last 3 years all ended in the semifinals, finally got over the hump this year, and they happen to be your hosts as well. They think this might be the year they capture the hardware. Take you back over to number 2 doubles. SMU has the advantage, 5 games to 2 here, serving 15 love. And that should make it 15 all. Hollebeck and the Russian Shapovalova here on the near side with the white tops.
Yeah, Shapovalova serving.
That was over on number 1 doubles where Tulsa leads 4 games to 2. But SMU serving 40-15. All of a sudden, SMU is back within a game on number 1 doubles. 4 games to 3, Tulsa still with the edge. We expect that will be the court that determines number 2 doubles. Let's go back over, I should say that will determine the doubles point most likely. Let's go over to number 2 doubles and see if we can watch how this one plays out.
Good first serve by Shapovalova, and now you are at 3 match points.
SMU serving 40-15, up 5 games to 2. And a second serve coming up. And Tulsa already captured number 3 doubles. This to even it. Not just yet.
A lot of communication and no crossing. There's too much respect for the quality of the ground stroke. So sometimes you just have to make a commitment and cut across. Would have been nice to see a sneak move there.
But SMU still with 2 more bites at the apple here. Now serving 40-30. Golden Hurricane not going away. In fact, they can pull within 2 games on this next point. At the same time, SMU could clinch number 2 doubles. And Deuce here in our 8th game with SMU up 5-2. over on number 2 doubles. And SMU finds the elusive point.
No.
And they are now being told that Tulsa said it was out, and our chair agrees.
Oh, wow.
And instead of taking court 2, it will move on to the next game. Tulsa captures its 3rd game, and it's 5-3.
It was a hard shot coming to her face. She moves out of the way. It doesn't touch her racket. How does she not touch her racket? And they call that one long from there. Too far from our angle.
And the players will almost exclusively call their lines, and it is rare that a chair will go against the call of the student athlete. And we thought SMU may run away with number 2 doubles to pull even after Tulsa took number 3 doubles in 6 straight games. Back to your top doubles pairing for both SMU and Tulsa. Nice job at the net.
Well done. Nice slice serve. Had some wide action on it. Matula's setting up the table. Moskova's moving forward and taking care of business. She's tall, very wiry, quite athletic, and not afraid to move.
And here we are on number 2 doubles, where moments ago Tulsa captured the 8th game to pull back within 2 games. And you wonder, how does SMU bounce back from that frustration? At least to their benefit, they still have a 2-game advantage. And right now, this is number 1 doubles. Tulsa leading 4 games to 3.
That was 5-3. That was a hold from Matula.
They do take the 8th game. SMU on the ropes. And this is where Tulsa looks to lock it up and send us to singles play.
Yeah, big momentum shift here the last couple minutes.
So you see number 1 doubles. The primary portion of our screen. Next door is number 2 doubles. A lot of things going the way of the Golden Hurricane right now.
Yeah, they probably should be trying to take some balls up Traxler's line. She clearly has been great with her execution on middle volley crossing.
Tulsa serving 40-15 to pull within a game, believe it or not, after they almost fell 6-2. That time Tulsa's long.
Yeah, and I think it's earned by Traxler. Traxler was moving a little bit there, almost maybe not a poach, but a pinch, if you will, with some tennis language. And Matula sees that and ends up making the ground stroke long because she was concerned. Ace by Plona there.
Everyone's attention right now on number 1 doubles. For SMU 1 point away from pulling within a game.
Oh yeah, all you can do is take care of business on your serve and try to give the other team some pressure. Great overhead by Asaki.
Well, we've seen a comeback story on each of our 2 remaining courts here in doubles play. It is It's 5-4. The Mustangs are back within one on number 1 doubles. And you can say the exact same about Tulsa on number 2 doubles. They have pulled back within a game 5-4. And all of a sudden, that doubles point is still very much up for grabs.
And I think the graphic says it all. You see the response. Coach Neil Kenner here is talking to his players, and they were listening. And obviously, there was a little bit of a, not necessarily a disagreement, but obviously some anguish on behalf of the Tulsa girls for not being able to close it out there. It's a key part of the coaching dynamic. Coming to some agreement on what to do for the next game.
SMU with the serve here on number 2 doubles, but they've dropped the last 2 games. Hanging on to a 5-4 advantage here in the lone set.
More movement and net pressure there.
And they'll be serving 15 love here. 3 points away from claiming that elusive final game. Second serve coming up. And serving 15 love, up 5-4. And a double fault. It's on number 1, where Tulsa has that 5-4 advantage. At the moment, the burden is on SMU to have a comeback on number 1. If either of these courts go the way of Tulsa, that's it. Jen Kupkova and Rensburg for Tulsa easily took number 3 doubles in 6 straight games. Nice backhand, but the answer is there.
Well done. Quality ground strokes, creating the opportunity for the up girl to take advantage and play aggressive.
So on number 2 doubles, Tulsa is now 2 points away from leveling it at 5 games apiece. Tulsa has to win basically 4 straight games. They've already taken the last 2. Obviously need the break here. All. SMU continues its service.
Interesting strategizing that time. Broke the traditional formation. That's in.
Well, we have identical lines on both courts. 30 all. Each is in the 10th game, but it's SMU leading 5-4. Number 2 doubles, also leading 5-4 on number 1 doubles.
Yeah, it's now double match point for SMU on number 2.
Let's stay here with number 2 doubles. And there is the elusive game. After Tulsa rattled off a couple of must-wins, SMU takes number 2 doubles. And that will shift the full burden now as expected, although it's taken longer than perhaps we expected.
Yeah, and now it's match point for Tulsa here, and I think that it taking that long could possibly be the difference.
Up 5-4. It's 40 serving 30.
is a clutch volley. High backhand volley, hit well with authority, and now the plot thickens even more.
How critical is this point coming up right here? If it goes the way of Tulsa, they take the doubles point. If it belongs to the Mustangs here at home, we'll be even 5 games apiece.
Let's go Mustangs!
#1 doubles.
It's a loud crowd, so the girls are trying to communicate with each other so they can actually be clear on what the plan is.
Let's go Stangs!
Tulsa has the only margin for error on this court. Just like that, with each team taking one doubles court,
And
we
Coach,
head into an 11th game.
it's tough. Coach Horford is disappointed that someone was yelling "Achoo" right as his player was serving there and trying to keep the, obviously the crowd is critical in a home match, but you want to make sure you're respectful to the players as they're competing.
We saw some conferences a couple years ago loosen the decorum policies.
Yeah, that the actual heckle rule was in play tonight.
Big 12 was notorious for that.
Vamos! Let's go Mustangs! Let's go Mustangs! Come on!
5 games apiece. Love 15, second serve. Just in.
Tough, really high ball there, slightly out of her reach, and she was trying to angle it. The place that she wanted to hit it to was open, but the actual realism of trying to hit an angle off of that ball as her arm is outstretched is hard. You lose power when your arm's hyperextended like that. It's not easy to find that spot.
I misspoke. It was 15 love, now 15 all. Again, SMU topples number 12 seed Temple on Wednesday when Tulsa had the day off. And the 4 seed and 1 seeds from Florida both go down to the Mustangs here in Dallas. Tulsa gets past 7 seed Memphis and of course 34th ranked Wichita State yesterday in the semifinals.
It's great overhead there.
They were your runners up last year after a pair of titles, including one when Tulsa hosted a couple years back at the Michael D. Case Tennis Center. $15-30.
Gets very close. It's a game of inches.
Still trying to stay loose, 15-40. Trying to avoid giving the advantage back to Tulsa.
Well played. Lots of good choices there. Good coverage, right time to isolate the net player, and very good finish. I mean, that was a high ball, and a lot of times with the nerves and the pressure of the moment, not the easiest shot to take care of, and she took care of that with ease.
Again, the doubles point has come down to number 1 doubles here. Number 3 went to Tulsa with ease, 6-0. SMU able to hang on number 2, 6-4.
And you got to give Leskova credit. She just shaded to the middle a little bit like she was going to move, and that drew the ball line and actually took Traxler out of her cross-court concentration, and the ball was too easy for the senior not to take care of that business. She moved just a little bit of a fake there. You see that, and that drew the ball, and she was able to cover the line. Good doubles instincts.
Again, both coaches with all their attention on the lone two student athletes at the moment. Still in contention here in doubles play. You're looking at Dean Orford, the former Golden Hurricane in his own right. His assistant, Linka Brusova. And SMU again just trying to stay loose, keep things light. They're now challenged to send this to a tie break. Golden Hurricane, no interest in that tie break. Like to put it away here in this game.
That's very good for two reasons, really. Matula is refusing to back up, and you know, in my own junior coach hat, I think it's critical for the back players that are hitting the ground strokes to take the balls on the rise and take time away so their partner can actually move. She does that well, and the quality of those ground strokes she's hitting actually got Leskova an opportunity there. Now they're going I formation.
Well, if Matula is playing mind games, the junior from Greece, two-time academic all-conference here in the American. And just like that, Tulsa 2 points away from taking the doubles point.
And it's contagious, you know, Lincoln. So she wins the last point by making a good move at the end of the last game. Then she makes a good move in the beginning of this game. And now, so she's on 3 consecutive contributions inside the service box to her team.
Matula and Laskatova again, 1 win and 1 loss in their 2 decisions this week. And SMU on the board. It'll be 30-15, up 6 games to 5, still 2 points away from capturing the overall doubles point and momentum going into singles. .15.
It's a big shot. I mean, your responsibility when you're that person is to make sure you don't get beat up the line. And she caught that a little late. Maybe you're thinking that it's going to go wide, but at this point, this moment, that score, you just can't let that get by you.
Not quite 50 minutes into this championship here on the American Digital Network. Tulsa trying to wrap up the doubles portion.
That's some big time play. Oh, it's called wide. Wait, are they calling it? They're calling it out. The ref is overruling and calling it good.
SMU lives on. That doubles point not yet awarded. Tulsa called it out. SMU disagreed, and the judge overruled.
That's a great volley, and that's a great move.
Judge awards the line. You have to shake it off. You still have 2 more chances here. Back-to-back close calls that will both go to the Mustangs.
Wow. Wow.
Ruled out.
I think that she may have said she's unsighted there. I don't think she weighed in. Yeah, that looks on from our vantage point. I think the ref said she's unsighted on the far sideline, and I think that sometimes, in some instances, the refs will defer to the player call if they don't feel 100% sure. It's a tricky dynamic, and now 2 successive match points go against Tulsa.
So here's Deuce. Tulsa can still take it. And the Golden Hurricane march into the championship final, and they take the doubles point. Tulsa leads 1-0 going into our 6 singles courts coming up here on the American Digital Network. They were denied the title last year as your runner-up in Orlando, looking for their 3rd title in 4 years.
That's right, and Senior Lechkova, she was the net star there of the show from 5-all on. She just took over.
When we come back, Tulsa will lead 1-0. We'll spread them out. All 6 courts occupied here inside the Brookshire Family Pavilion on the campus of SMU. Golden Hurricane and Mustangs will have your lineups when we come back.
Oh, that ball is hit deep. Left field. Way back. That ball is gone.
Double play ball potentially Schreitenthal's over to first. In time, double play, and that ends the game.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle,
a big save,
a clutch hit,
and a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
Power is respecting an opponent, officials,
student athletes, coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
profanities, or other improper actions
while at the game.
The American.
Power.
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 Power for life.
I was the last person anybody's thinking is going to be in college athletics. One thing I really valued about my SMU experience was being in engineering school. I was taught how to think. In 2012, my wife and I decided to start our foundation. Basically, the goal is to let kids be kids while they're in the hospital, but also be able to return to being a kid when they're done. A huge part of my quality of life is the experiences that I've had, and that was all provided by SMU. I'm Thomas Morstead. Game changers are shaped here.
Mentioned Dean Orford, former Tulsa Golden Hurricane, back in his day, 13th year at the helm of the women's program, was an assistant for over a decade on the men's side. Since he took over 13 years ago, they've only missed out on the NCAAs back in his first year, 2006. It has been quite the run under his guidance here with these days 26th ranked Tulsa.
Yeah, he's done an excellent job, and the team is rather balanced. The counterpart to him, I did have a talk with the men's coach from Tulsa, and I just asked him, why do you think Dean's been so consistent? He says he's just one of the most focused and organized coach that he's ever actually seen, and I've clearly worked with on a day-to-day basis. So this organization and his effort, taking care of the little things, has been one of the keys to success. And clearly, the girls are showing week in, week out. If you're top 25 in the country, you're going to be in the conference championships and vying for NCAA opportunities every year.
Let's take a look at our lineups for the 6 courts here. Remember, Tulsa only needs to take half of them to be your champions here in 2018. SMU has the burden of taking 4 of the 6, currently trailing by that doubles point, entering singles play. Any matchup in particular stand out to you?
Really, there's a bunch of good ones all the way down the line here.
SMU has constantly had a revolving door there at number 6 singles, but Tiffany Hollebeck picked up a win at 6 singles yesterday against number 1 seed UCF. She stays in the lineup there on that 6th court.
Yeah, it's a great story, and she's she's a Texas girl. Did some work at Lifetime and also at Nukes, and obviously has spent a great deal of time training in this area, and it's great for her to be able to play on a top team and a venue and an opportunity like this for her.
Meanwhile, on number 1 singles, Laskatova is your one ranked singles player in this field, 74th in the most recent ITA rankings. Your 2-time all-conference performer, the senior from Russia. As again, there are 6 courts here inside, as some of them already underway. And you feel for the passionate fan all of a sudden, trying to keep up with everything at once. We'll start off with number 1 singles, focus in on it as they get underway, and then slowly guide you throughout the 6 courts as some drama starts to unfold. And this is our matchup of Ksenia Laskatova and Karina Traxler. Laskatova, as a sophomore, was primarily number 2 singles. That was the breakthrough year when she went 23-5 in her decisions. But her other 3 years has been number 1. A senior out of Moscow, Russia. Has 1 decision this week of victory. That was yesterday against Wichita State. That was in a rematch against Bizakova, who was your top-ranked individual in the American this year, 60th in the ITA rankings. And Laskatova went 2 for 2 this year in head-to-head with Bizakova.
Yeah, it was a tough match yesterday, and there was a little bit breezy conditions outside on the back courts across the street, and Laskatova just didn't take it didn't take no for an answer, and really just competed well and played, I think, aggressive through the wind. This now playing on an indoor court, fairly medium speed, because this facility is quite new. Should be fair to both players.
What would you say, room temperature?
Yeah.
Air conditioning vents, mild. It is 15-all here in this first game.
And I think Traxler's going to want to do this a lot. She's going to want to stay on the left side of the court and play a little bit more backhand and backhand. I think that maybe on the right side of the court, Laskatova has a little bit more of an advantage, a little more firepower from the forehand wing. Traxler obviously moving over from Baylor and been coached by her dad, Dan Traxler. I remember him watching her as a young girl in the junior tournaments well over 10 years ago. She's been a stalwart and a tough competitor from day one.
These 2 programs met on March 23rd in New Orleans. Remember, that was the last loss for SMU before this 9-match winning streak. Back then, it was Lisa Boos who was your number 1 singles. But we have seen Karina Traxler play everything but 6 singles this year. She will go anywhere that coach needs her in that lineup.
And I questioned Coach about it earlier. I said, is that a scenario where other teams and other programs could kind of challenge you relative to how much rotation you have? And she just said, to be honest, Mark, my team's not even. And so, she's been sort of not just rotating, but also sort of awarding or rewarding, if you will, great success and great results.
Yeah, what she sees during the week and in your last match, as we saw with Hollaback, gets rewarded your next outing. Traxler, now in her 9th match of her last 12 outings, is on number 1 singles. She's 4-0 in her decisions, so has often seen that unfinished by her name, as matches have been clinched elsewhere beforehand. And Traxler a year ago was in Waco playing for Baylor in the Big 12.
That right there is, to me, the way the points are going to go. Traxler's going to try to play on the left side of the court. Laskatova's going to try to figure out the opportune time to attack her through the right side of the court and then possibly come forward and finish. And that point there was probably the prototype of what Pliskova needs to do if she wants to get it done here at number 1.
26th ranked Tulsa. I don't think anybody's surprised that the Golden Hurricane playing for a 4th straight year in the final. SMU's the one turning heads, not because of how they fared last year, a brilliant campaign, but this year they started 0-4 against conference opponents. They finished 3-4 during the regular season. They've matched those 3 wins alone in the last 3 days. They have been red hot here since that mid-March loss to Tulsa on neutral ground in New Orleans. And this is number 1 singles. Traxler for the Mustangs. And Laskatova, second highest ranked singles player in the American this year.
As you can see, that's a lot of backhands. That was a lot of effort just for the very first game.
We shuffle over to number 2 singles now, where SMU leads 1-0 and possibly 2 points away from going up 2-0 on a break. Pardon me, a break in the first game. And a second serve now for Lisa Boos. And Boos was number 1 singles back in March against Tulsa. Right now matched up with Akalova, Martina Akalova, the sophomore from Slovakia.
Akalova's really consistent. She moves the ball around. She plays with a lot of height. Mixes spins a lot. She may be one of the few that could be affected the most by going from outside to in. She's not playing in the doubles lineup, more of a single specialist. Boos was in just a complete war yesterday in her match, and a lot of tough competitive points. I'm interested in seeing just physically how she responds today with such a long physical match she dealt with yesterday with the UCF player, and now playing another player who's quote unquote a tough out, and someone's going to keep her competing and playing a lot of long points.
Boos, the second-year Mustang after transferring from Iowa State 2 years ago when she was all conference in the Big 12. Now a junior from Russia. At the top of your screen for the Mustangs, Akalova at the bottom of your screen, trailing by a game.
That's a nice little combination. Akalova takes the air out of the ball and hits a couple of really high rollers to Boos's backhand. Boos tends to be pretty flat and linear with a lot of her shots. She ends up leaving a bit of a short reply off of the moon ball, and then Akalova could take that one aggressive shot per point. She's not going to take a ton of those, but that's a good one and is well set up.
SMU serving 40-15 here with Boos a point away from going up 2 games. Hard-fought point goes to Boos, and with it, game 2. As she takes the first 2 games of this opening set.
And clearly, with Akalova not playing in the doubles, sometimes it takes a little bit to get yourself into character when you haven't been hitting. The challenge dynamic-wise, just with this whole day, I mean, the teams often would have hit early in the morning and then had another warm-up before the match, but because of the weather and all the boys playing inside, there's been no hitting earlier, so waiting longer The original time was 3, then it was 4, then it was almost 5. So they've been sitting around all day to play this, and not the same amount of balls hit coming in. So nerves could be a factor in some instances early in some of these matches.
Again, Tulsa took the doubles point. They lead 1-0. They only need to take half of the 6 courts here in singles to be your 3-time champions in the American.
Yeah, but see, the indoors is helping both, and Ankalaeva is trying to explore playing a little more aggressive maybe than she was playing outside in the wind. Hasn't worked for her yet, but I think that she's starting to do some good things. It'll be interesting to see how this match unfolds, if Ankalaeva can get herself more connected to what she needs to do indoors and how Boos is doing physically.
Again, Boos has decisions in all 3 of her singles matches this week. A couple of victories, including a clincher in the quarterfinals against US South.
See, that's a good sort of aggressive combination there. She just wasn't able to finish it off, and now she's got to reset again. And now Boos gets a little bit more help from the end of the court. And so it's like one person's a little bit better at offense than the other.
Mentioned how Tulsa got here, having to knock off ranked Wichita State. Well, last weekend it was against number 19 UCF. Tulsa has been tested here. As we take you over to number 3 singles, at the moment 1 game apiece. SMU up 40-30 in this 3rd game. And Shapovalova for SMU here on number 3 singles. 2-0 in her 2 decisions this week, with 1 match going unfinished. She's at the top of your screen receiving this serve. Matched up today with Kupkova, a freshman from Slovakia.
Yeah, Kupkova, she was in a tough one. She lost yesterday, a very frustrating match. The Wichita State girl mixed it up a lot, hit a ton of different variety of spins. So this is a lot different matchup than she experienced yesterday. An indoor sort of aggressive match versus yesterday an outdoor sort of cat and mouse. There's a lot of adjusting that she'll have to do today. She likes to play on the left side of the court, dominates a lot with her backhand. If you saw that last point, she was hitting backhands on the forehand side of the court, actually.
Well, when that announcement was made about a year ago that Wichita State would be officially joining the American, I would guess a lot of these student athletes didn't know much about that program, but is one that had been dominant in the Missouri Valley Conference. And we are seeing the Shockers all throughout the athletic calendar year really make this league stronger, and we're seeing that in tennis as well.
Yeah, no doubt. Colin Foster, the head coach there, goes way back with me, back to his junior days. He's a Chicago actual standout, and he's won some NCAA coaching awards and has been an amazing addition to that program and that conference. And no surprise, yesterday it was a barn burner. His team really lost 4-2, but it took almost till 8 o'clock last night for a resolution in that match. And I think that Wichita State adding to this conference is just going to make it better and better. And this American group, both on the men and women's sides, with Danny Bryan now being the coach there at Wichita, I think we'll be competing more for some possible titles in the years to come.
You're looking at number 6 singles, where Shura Popi, the freshman from the Netherlands, is matched up with the Plano Texan. Of course, Plano is just north of us here in Dallas, Tiffany Hollebeck. And this is probably the best SMU has felt about their number 6 matchup in a while. That says nothing about who's across the net, but just how well Hollebeck played against UCF yesterday.
Yeah, and a must-win situation. Just a gutsy effort down there in her position. And if you saw in the doubles, she has a mixture of being able to be consistent but also add finishing statements. And so some of that doubles prowess translating into the singles court, and then with this actually being an indoor match, I'd say that she and Bruce both have opportunities here at their position today that maybe would be a little bit different if it was an outdoor match.
Hollaback serving 15-30, down 2 games to 1.
Check, that's a great, aggressive forehand, hitting through the court, being able to use the speed of the court. And a lot of the tennis on the boys semifinals, I thought, was court position and transition based. I'm not sure, with the shift to girls tennis, how different it'll be today. But clearly, so far, it seems like it's been paying some dividends for those that have been aggressive.
I pointed out SMU liking 6 singles was not a slight on Popey. She is 2-0 this week in singles. Is undefeated overall as she had her lone doubles decision coming into today. Hollaback, another one of these transfers for SMU. He was at Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, where they were your Ohio Valley Conference champions last year. Inside the Brookshire Family Pavilion on the campus of SMU. As we anticipate, we'll be back outside for the men's championship tomorrow at noon Central here on the American Digital Network. With wet conditions lingering and a chance of some showers here late this evening, the smart decision to come indoors to crown a champion in the American for the women.
Smart choice right there. I think the body serve is a serve she should use a lot more often in this particular matchup. I feel like it's a stronger side. The forehand's a stronger side here. The backhand may be slightly, I won't say weaker, just not, as devastating in terms of creating winners. But I think that going into the body, you can get some opportunities.
And Popey with the confident right hand able to put that one away.
Yeah, I think she just has to figure out how she can play a little close to the baseline off of the normal rallies, and in this particular instance on the return to serve. Now she's a good step and a half behind the line. Can she gain a little ground as she makes the return, try to get her back to neutral? Because they're within 2 shots, you can see Poppy's already lining up a short forehand, and that type of control in the early part of the point is important. It's a great effort with the lob there, but still, playing the backside of the point a lot, sometimes is more difficult to do inside.
We talked about how much things have changed for SMU just in the last month and a half or so. There's only one rematch on the court right now in terms of in terms of singles. It's over on the court number 5. We'll have a chance to check in later on that one. But the rest of the rotation has altered for SMU in that time. Right now here on number 6 singles, Popey with the serve. We check in on that lone rematch from New Orleans back on March 23rd as Ploner or Tulsa was able to defeat in straight sets Monterez Yasaki. Today, she leads 3 games to 1, and right now it's up 40-30 with the serve. Vera Ploner, again, the sophomore out of Italy. Be wide on that offering. It was on number 5 singles that Ploner clinched yesterday the victory against Wichita State, again in that nationally ranked matchup here in the American. And another game will go the way of Vera.
Yeah, it's smart. The lefty matchup into the Yasaki backhand is definitely the way Ploner wants to play this. When Yasaki yesterday was actually brilliant with the slice backhand, she used that as a tactic to throw off her UCF opponent. But today that ends up being, the short slices that would end up being short balls to Ploner's forehand, and probably is going to need a change of tactic.
So Tulsa over there on court 5 had the now 4-game-to-1 lead in the opening set. We see a couple of courts that are even 2 games apiece. A couple of courts that are within one game. Only court 3 has separation of multiple games like court 5. Both are in favor of Tulsa, which has the early advantage. And of course, you factor in the doubles point that went the way of the Golden Hurricane. Right now, back to #1 singles, where SMU leads 2 games to 1. It's 30 all here in this 4th game. Laskatova with the backhand, now forehand. And Traxler just long.
Yeah, Traxler is playing the type of point she likes. She's very quick. She covers a lot of space. There's a lot of room in the back on these courts. And you can see Laskova keeps trying to explore with rolls and short angles, try to get her out of position. There she ends up missing that one long, but she normally has a great placement of her forehands. Again, I think that the backhand tends to be the signature shot to apply more pressure.
Traxler has won her last 4 matches on #1 singles.
She's just automatic on that. This cross-court backhand, that one's dialed.
And against the ranked Laskatova. Junior against senior.
Yeah, so eventually she keeps testing the patience and trying to make Laskova create something different than that particular pattern. It's almost a, I'm going to beat you at this. What else do you want to do? And now Laskova, I feel, probably has more responsibility to do more with her forehand and her net game and her direction changing. So the match Traxler's playing is sort of a lower level of difficulty.
Laskatova with the serve right here in the 4th game at Deuce can level us at 2 games apiece. And she's coming off that big win yesterday. And you wonder if there would be any kind of emotional letdown here 24 hours later.
See there, she's trying to create something. She's trying to do a high roll. It's really not in her temperament. I think she's probably been instructed to try to mix things up a little bit and not just play one-dimensional style. But clearly a direction change moon ball choice inside ends up costing her. So now she's having a lot of long points, and if you're looking up at the scoreboard, she's down 3-1. So it's an interesting period probably emotionally for her, these next couple of decisions, because I think Traxler has a lot more of a good feeling about the plan that she's currently utilizing. And now she's going to follow up and take a short ball and be aggressive too.
Karina able to push that one right down the line.
Yeah, and looks like someone who's pretty comfortable in herself, and definitely someone that's on a match win streak. It doesn't appear that she's in a, American Conference final right now. It just looks like she's just kind of playing a routine match.
She's matched up against Ksenia Laskatova, who again arrived from Russia, making a splash as your co-freshman of the year 3 years ago. Here in the American. Part of a championship run, now 2 titles under her belt with the Golden Hurricane. And she makes Traxler work, who does not have an answer.
And this is where being a senior and showing some poise is going to have to be the case, because that's a big forehand. She can definitely apply some pressure and probably make some more statements aggressively with that. I think she needs to just change the complexion of the points. She needs to play more forehands.
And you're watching live coverage of the American Women's Tennis Championship. This is the final. Our 4th day of competition for the women. Tulsa got the first day off. That was not afforded to your host SMU. As the 5 seed, they have played every day, including the last 2 days of upsets against the pair of Florida schools, including #1 seed UCF going down yesterday. They still are asked to win another match if they are going to lift the trophy here on their campus.
moving forward after she creates the opening is going to be the key. She's had some openings and I think allowed some balls to reset. The court position is key after she's hit the first driving shot and had an opportunity to get inside the court.
It was a dramatic doubles point that came down to #1 doubles. Of course, Laskatova was a part of that tandem with Matula, able to hang on and claim the first point of the day for the Golden Hurricane.
Yeah, she keeps trying to go up, and I'm not necessarily against the idea of mixing a little bit here and there, but she just hasn't been able to find the mark on that. And that's, again, a combination of having fewer balls being hit today and her having a responsibility of a lot more variety in this match. And this is what Traxler wants to do here. Over and over and over. But there's an opportunity, and she ends up getting that one on the line. There's the opportunity to step up. She's got to take care of business. I mean, it's just, she's refusing to take the volley out of the air.
Laskatova dictating the pace.
Yeah, it worked out for her there, but I think she needs to go ahead and take a page out of the end of the doubles. I mean, the beauty of the format is that we play the doubles first, and with all those extra net appearances and volley putaways, that should translate into better singles transition confidence. And so far, she hasn't been willing to do that.
No concern for her head coach, Dean Orford, who saw her slip behind 3-1. She's now pulled back within a game in this opening set on #1 singles. Mark, as you were talking about, SMU likely entered this week feeling their next loss would be their last of the year. You talk about SMU, they lose the doubles point earlier today, so that's 3 straight days with their season on the line. They've dropped the doubles point, but they have found a way to prolong this campaign the last 2 days, and they're asking themselves to do it again here today.
And it's a big ask, but at this point, you just play in survival mode. You just battle hard every point, every game, at every position, and for a few hours, you see what happens at the end. We're a long way from being done here. Tulsa clearly has, an advantage on 2 courts, but they need 3. They need 3 courts to get out of here, and it's going to take a while.
#2 singles, dead even, 2 games apiece, and at deuce here in the 5th game. And again, that last point went to Tulsa, so they take a 3-2 advantage. Looking at #3 singles, where Tulsa leads 5-1, serving 15 all.
Big forehand. Again, like I was mentioning about Buss is also holding, true for Shapovalova. They were just such tough, long, grueling matches, and you just wonder physically on the 4th match of the day, when they never have been asked all season to be in this physical situation, how is Shapovalova and Buss feeling?
Kubkova for Tulsa, again from Slovakia, the freshman, matched up with Shapovalova from Russia, the junior, former first-team All-Conference in the MAC when she started her career in Ohio at Miami University.
And it's also interesting, Lincoln, that the 2 SMU young ladies that had those really long, grueling matches yesterday, they're both still wearing their long-sleeve shirts. Both of them. Not sure if their muscles are cold or they prefer to play in that, but
again, you see that being the case for Angelika.
And she's going big now. And that might be, you know, a smart way to try to play. Take some shots on some second serves because Kopkova's second serve looks to be attackable.
She clinched yesterday against UCF.
Now she's getting a banana and some food and a drink, some sustenance.
Check back in on the number 6 singles matchup in Hollaback for SMU. At the moment, even 3 games apiece. Tulsa serving 15 all. Shura Popey winning in straight sets in each of her first 2 rounds here in Dallas against Wichita State and Memphis. Yesterday's 6-2 and 6-3. Right now in a nail biter with Hollaback. About to be serving 40-15, no, pardon me, second serve coming up, 30-15.
Oh my goodness. Oh, this is crazy. Oh, bad luck.
A little bit of everything there.
Tripped
in
over
the
her
end,
feet. That was
Popey.
Unlucky. She almost pulled it off. She played a nice approach out up the line. And great passing shot by Popey.
Hollaback did not play singles when these 2 teams met during the regular season. Anselmo played number 6 singles, a match that was not completed. We did see Hollaback in that matchup in doubles. Again, right now, 3 games apiece. Tulsa serving with a chance to make it 4-3 in the first set.
Ace.
And the ace will make it 4-3. The advantage for Tulsa on court number 6 here in singles play. Looking to build on that doubles point the Golden Hurricane captured earlier today.
Yep, great slice serve up the tee. Toss just slightly to the right. Good weight transfer into the serve. It's always great to hold tennis. They often say that the 7th game is a crucial game. And
back to number 1 singles where SMU leads 4-2. Laskatova at the bottom of your screen for Tulsa. And Traxler will call it long.
just key at this time of the match for SMU to feel like they've got a scoreboard opportunity, you know, just to hang close in some sets and maybe have some positions that they can actually earn some first sets in.
Points away from going ahead 5-2 here in this opening set against the nationally ranked opposition, Ksenia Laskatova. Tulsa has matched the 20 wins they had last year when they made it to the NCAA tournament. Golden Hurricane ranked for a 12th straight year by the ITA here at the end of the season.
That's a big time shot. And, you know, from that core position, she's in the middle of no man's land. She jumps around, gets the ball in a good spot, and takes the right calculated risk. I just think, you know, Traxler's been playing some fairly attackable serves this entire time, and she hasn't really looked to use, you know, that shot and make that statement. She's been losing a bit of the tactical backhand to backhand rally, and she needs to earn some points in some other areas, because it somehow always defaults back to this.
30 all here in the 7th game.
And that's really big for her to be able to not only, you know, get a couple of points in a row, but win the actual rally that she hasn't been dominating.
She is a point away from a break and pulling within a game.
Yeah, that's a big statement there. They're on break, but for as tough as this set has been from Lechkova's perspective, now she's starting to have a little bit of a positive feel good at a late stage.
So after being behind 4-2, back within 1 is Leskatova. Let's go back over to number 2 singles. This is where the Golden Hurricane has the 4-2 advantage in the opening set.
Yeah.
Now 30 all.
4 games in a row. And that's what I was talking about before. The question is what type of response Busto's going to have today. And she started out getting a lead, but
it's Akalova who has rattled off those 4 straight.
yeah, now you're starting to see a little bit of tired legs. I think these are tired legs from yesterday.
Well, you talk about fatigue. It's not just about yesterday when both teams played, but the fact that SMU is playing its 4th match in 4 days. I know they get to sleep in their own beds here as the host, but it's a lot to ask and something you don't see very often during the year, fall or spring.
That's right. That was a set point for Tulsa, and now we come back again with another set point, no ad. 5 serving 3, deuce.
Tulsa with a chance to take the set.
And it is erased.
And that's the drama with no ad. You feel like you can be on the brink of letting it all slip away. And a moment later, shot like that, renewed hope.
Yeah, there was a lot of separation on the scoreboard in a couple of those positions, and now that it's tightened up quite a bit. Set point right now for Ploner. And she overplays it.
And it'll take us to deuce. Still with a chance to take the set. Look for a safe serve here. Trailing 4-5 with the serve. And instead of capturing the set, Ploner sees that 10th game slip away. And all of a sudden, 5 games apiece.
Yeah, and I think that this particular matchup is an interesting one. Obviously, Ploner was the closer. Yasaki has done a really good job for their team. She's won a fair amount, but she also, to me, is just has a nice balance of playing a baseline style, mixing speeds, coming forward. That she has maybe a tool set that allows her to be coachable as a dual match ensues, so she can do some different things at different times of the match depending on what the coaches want, where a lot of players often are just comfort zone driven.
Let's see if we can go to court 6 as Tulsa trying to lock up the opening set. 5-3. 40 love. Plenty of wiggle room here for Popey.
Good serve, great choice. Body serve backhand, I think, has been working for both players in this matchup.
So Popey will take the opening set 6-3 on number 6 singles. That is the first set to fall on any of our 6 courts. Court 4 could be next here for SMU. Right now you're looking at number 1 singles, even 4 games apiece. Love 30. 15-30. And Tulsa avoids dropping the set, we'll point out, over on number 4 singles. Back within a game. Second serve coming up for Traxler. Again, Traxler saw any advantage now vanquished, or even 4 games apiece. Laskatova up 30-15 here in this 9th game.
My goodness, she won't take that one out of the air either. She has a lot of advantages in the point, and she ends up retreating. And Traxler actually likes to play these longer points.
Traxler aggressive. It'll pay off.
Yeah, and it's the irony of this match. I think that Leskovic is creating more opportunities to finish sooner, but not taking them. And I think that eventually when Traxler gets there, Traxler actually has become more decisive and had a better finishing ratio inside the service box in this match.
Tulsa has captured the first set on both 5 and 6 singles. Right now in the driver's seat with the lone point awarded back in doubles play. SMU has the burden of winning 4 of these singles matches. They felt good early about Traxler.
It's great defense. Yeah.
Laskatova just sat back and waited.
It's a great point. I mean, Traxler covered. I mean, some of the ESPN matches on TV now, they'll show the distance run by the player. I guarantee Traxler has put a mile on her shoes already in this one. She's been running quite a bit.
Ksenia already twice, all conference, all academic conference as well.
A lot to be said for that.
Laskatova a point away here from taking a 5-4 lead in the opening set. Draxler trying to send it to Deuce.
And then she gets it done. And that's a lot to be said. I felt before that when she won the game at 4-2 down, she was 3-1 down and 4-2 down. She was able to feel better about herself, and now she's turning that into wins.
What a turnaround by Ksenia Laskatova over there on #1 singles. She leads 5 games to 4. And this was just a moment ago here on #3 singles.
Tulsa wins the set 6-4.
As Tulsa now has a set lead on half of the courts. 4, 5, and 6. The bottom half of the lineup has all come through in that first frame for Tulsa. I got ahead of myself there over on court 5. It was 6-5. Must win by 2 games. If it goes 6-6, we'll see our first tiebreak on the day.
Overplays it. This one's an opportunity for both players so far. Ploner obviously had a set point on her racket on a no-ad point and shanked the backhand return. Sign of nerves in that moment. Yeah, it's tough. Keeps working the lefty ball until Yasaki ends up not getting enough mustard on the backhand, leaving an opportunity for her to step up. And that choice, she ended up going back behind instead of to the open court. It was a great decision. She's sitting on 3 more set points.
15-40. And there goes the first set on singles #5. As Vera Ploner will take a nail biter, 7-5. Again, we've yet to see SMU capture a set yet on any of the 6 courts. Half of the court still in the midst of the first frame. That includes right here on #2 singles, where Tulsa leads 5 games to 3. (15-15). Take you back to the marquee matchup. #1 singles. And Laskatova has come all the way back now, leading 5 games to 4, and is 1 point away, which they have just said they will replay. Pardon me, 2 points away from taking the first set. In a moment, it'll be 40-love.
Yeah, she's really turned this around. I've got to give her an A++ for the composure on the backside of the score. This has been a challenging set, and for her to be in this position now, the way it went the first 5 games. Is a testament to how tough this senior really is.
And that's now 4 courts where the first set has gone the way of the Golden Hurricane. There's a reason why she is the second highest ranked singles player in this conference. And again, yesterday, for a second time this year, beat the top ranked American Athletic Conference student athlete.
Coach Conti trying to sit down at a really critical moment and work with her player. It's not an easy discussion after you just had a 7-5 set loss and you had a really good look at possibly getting that one done, and few and far between across these courts. But that message is, you know, obviously reestablish what you were doing well in the early part of that first set and try to have short-term memory loss about the fact that you just lost this one. Tough thing is that this is, you're on borrowed time with these kind of formats, Lincoln. You've got to get 4 points faster than the other team does.
Traxler, one of the 4 transfers this year for SMU, along with other contributors we see today, Hollaback and Shapovalova. But things really started to gel shortly after that loss to Tulsa in March. And with some irony, it is Tulsa standing in their way of the title here in Dallas. And you're looking at number 2 singles, the frustration there. It was 30-all, now it'll be 30-40, although with a 5-3 lead here in the opening set. Potentially 2 points away of Tulsa claiming another first set.
Well, she did not get the job done there. She had an opportunity ball with a high volley, missed it. Game SMU. Now SMU's back on serve.
And Boos is back within a game there in the opening set on number 2 singles.
Matula versus Perez Lopez. This is a great great battle here with 2 passionate players that have been heart and souls of their team.
Perez Lopez up 6 games to 5 here in the first set. Or, pardon me. Just the opposite. As Matula for Tulsa up 6-5.
And it's been another tale similar to number 1 singles where Matula's been behind in this one the entire time and he's just recently taken the lead.
Ana Perez Lopez was on a 6-decision stretch where she had won the last 6 decisions as a singles player. That was snapped yesterday against UCF when she fell to Matias in 3.
Yeah, she dominated that match as well. She was up a set in a break and ended up losing several games in a row. Up a set in 4-2 there, so that was a tough loss for her. She went on the bad side of momentum right at the closing time, but her other teammates were able to pull her up through the bootstraps and get the job done.
That puts Perez Lopez, the junior out of Oaxaca, Mexico, at 15-7 this year as a single. For those of you who tuned in late, Tulsa took the doubles point. We welcome you here on our live coverage of the Women's Championship in the American on the American Digital Network. Lincoln Rose, Mark Bay with you. 4 of the 6 courts here have moved on to the second set, each of which has Tulsa up a set. Tulsa has the slight advantage on the 2 courts, still in the midst of the first frame.
Tough decision there.
Last ball called out.
Yeah, why? Perez was throwing up the high roll, and Matula's taking it on the rise, but you don't want to try to find that ball into a narrow area in the court when it's above your shoulder and you're not really able to put enough power on it. It's much more of a danger to try to do what you did there.
Matula is 2-0 this week, including the clincher against Memphis. Matula trying to send us to 40-40. Now up 6-5.
And this is a vintage tactical battle when a righty plays a lefty. Who can hit more forehands than the other player? You're trying to play your forehand into the other player's backhand. And this point has been over 30 hits now. Wow.
So all of a sudden, a tie break will rear its head. And the opening set on number 4 singles.
And you can see the level of fitness these players have to have. 20 hours a week is the amount of time allowed in terms of total training, group lessons, private lessons, and fitness to get these girls in a level where they can play and compete at this level for day after day. Have these long battles and then right back to the line for more.
And Matula for Tulsa. Match up with Perez Lopez for SMU.
That's a big shot.
And it is 1-0 here in the tiebreak. Perez Lopez. Court 2 also in the first set. Golden Hurricane can avoid the tiebreak. This is 15-40. And set point.
Well played.
It will still be set point. Now 30-40. Trailing 4 games to 5. Akalova trying to become the 5th Golden Hurricane to lock up the first set.
And she has no problem with the grind.
And the sophomore will get it done.
There it is.
Martina Okolova will take set number 1.
As long as it takes. That's the mentality you have to have. And battling for your team is helpful. The tough aspect about this match today, Lincoln, I think, by playing indoors and having this outstanding scoreboard in the Ann and Brad Brookshire Family Pavilion, you can look up and know how everyone's doing. Normally, you feel the energy from the court next to you, but you don't know the entire.
That means just one court is still in the midst of the opening set. A tie break underway on number 4 singles. Right now that was a quick peek at number 1, but over here at number 4. Again, Matula for Tulsa. Perez Lopez for SMU. In the midst of the tie break, Perez Lopez leading 3-2. And we're back here to number 1 singles.
Great shot.
We saw Laskatova take the first set 6-4. She's taken the first 2 games here in the second set. Traxler serving 40-30, looking for her first game.
That's a big game. Big game. Instead of going down 3-love there after she's lost several games in a row, she's able to stop the slide. That's 5 games in a row she had lost before that.
Again, still in the first set. It's now 5-2 in the tie break for Perez Lopez. Ana Perez Lopez out of Oaxaca. Top of your screen for the Mustangs. She's holding out hope to be the lone Mustang to take a first set. SMU on their heels here after dropping the doubles point for a 3rd straight day. Matula into the net. And no, did they call let? Did that ball? SMU was not convinced that ball was going to influence play, but for player safety, a let call, and it remains 5-3 here in the tiebreak.
It's always tough timing. The nature of when that was coming, how that ball's rolling in. Here it comes. The referee sees it before the player saw it, and she obviously has the discretion to make that call.
And you understand when you err on the side of caution for the player's safety. A tough break there for SMU. Mustangs call it long. Now 1 point away from claiming the first set on the tie break. Matula's serve. Perez Lopez receiving here, up 6-4 on the tiebreak. Chance to close it out here.
Uh-oh.
And Matula not ready to say farewell to this opening set. She's seen all of her teammates win their first frame. Trying to join the pack. Perez Lopez able to hang on. Takes a much needed set for SMU. As number 4 singles, the last to embark on the second set here in singles competition.
Getting the ball up a little bit higher. Matula tried to play that without enough margin.
SMU with 11 NCAA appearances in its program's history. But the last one was 7 years ago. Last conference title, 2009.
And all these, you know, that set was over an hour of time. Over an hour just for that one set.
Obviously, Perez Lopez needs a lot of help from her teammates to even have a chance to finish her court. The second set on the other 5 courts. SMU does not have a lead in any of the 5. And 6 courts of singles underway as we are indoors today after the rain earlier today throughout Dallas and North Texas. We have the men's championship scheduled for noon outdoors tomorrow, just outside this venue. Number 1 singles in your top left, number 2 singles in your top right. Three singles bottom left, and over there in the corner in the bottom right is number 6 singles.
Yeah, and this is a race to 4 now, and you've got some good positions for Tulsa. You've got number 1 singles, a point away from 4-1 in the second. Obviously down there at number 3 singles is just 2-all in the second, but number 6 singles, it's a couple points away from possibly being 4-2.
Again, on number 1, Tulsa took the first set 6-4, leads in the second set 3-1. Currently a deuce. And your top right, number 2 singles. Tulsa took it 6-4, leads 1 game to none. Court 3 in your bottom left. Tulsa took it 6-4 in the first set. It's 2-all in the second set. Tulsa up 30-15. And over on court number 6, Tulsa again took the first set 6-3, leads 3-2 here in the second frame, up 40-15. Again, SMU on a 9-match winning streak. All this coinciding with the year they host the championship. And as much as both of these teams would have liked to have been outdoors today to play for the title, you figured this had to play into some favor for SMU. It amplifies any crowd noise, and there is a significant crowd for the Mustangs. And yet Tulsa has not been intimidated. Number 2 singles will take our focus for the moment.
Yeah, it was a big no-ad point there by Traxler. One took the risk and changed direction and hit the forehand up the line.
Is a boost for the Mustangs at the bottom of your screen. And again, Akalova for Tulsa. Tulsa's had a strong showing in the bottom half of its rotation. Talking about that bottom half of the rotation, you have 5 singles bottom left, 6 singles bottom right, both favoring Tulsa, up a set and leading in set 2.
Yeah, it's great. Great effort down there at 6, that hustle.
And SMU now is going to need the vast majority of these courts to go to a 3rd set. And they'll need their supporters to cancel any dinner plans they may have had.
That's 100% right. Yeah, it's survival mode for SMU now. You just have to dig in and make every point as long and every game as tough as possible until you can start seeing within your own match the tide turn. Tennis is unique, you know, different than the other sports. You watch the end of a basketball game, it's a bunch of fouls and free throws. You watch the end of a football game, there's a bunch of running plays to try to run out the clock. In tennis, you actually still have to physically get the job done. There's not a time element on it. So the players still have to execute to actually close the door.
SMU is hanging on both number 5 and number 6. On number 5 singles, 4 games apiece. Number 6 singles, Tulsa just up 4-3 in the 2nd set. Which of these matchups catches your eye?
Well, right now, the matchups that are the closest to getting the job done are the ones that become significant. So right now at number 5 singles, you've got Ploner with a chance to be 1 game away. And she's doing a great job of working that lefty serve and the lefty high rolls, giving her a chance to try to put that, because it's still just 1-0 on the scoreboard. So if you can get 2, you can get 3, people start coming off, it really makes the other players feel a sense of urgency. In the other semi, I thought it was pivotal. The Memphis number 2 player was up 5-0 in the 2nd set, and it took him 4 games to win. Well, he lost 4 games and 4 match points, and then he finally won, but it gave enough life to some of the other USF guys around him for USF to come back and pull it out.
Again, the court in recess right now on the bottom left of your screen. That is court number 5, where Tulsa leads 5 games to 4 in the 2nd set. So for Tulsa, that is Ploner, who could very well give Tulsa a 2-0 advantage overall today and be the first to capture a singles point. And, well, number 1, Leskatova Up 4-2 now in the second set.
Yeah, she's a tough hombre. I know they don't have hombres in Russia, but I'm telling you, she's a tough one.
You don't hear much about Russia these days.
No.
We have a couple of Russians in this matchup. Both Laskatova for Tulsa. And for SMU, Boos on court 2.
Yeah, it was interesting chatting with the Tulsa coaches.
Third as well.
Yeah, talking to the Tulsa coaches. I was just asking sort of what was the level of the players on their way into college. And, you know, they had 3 players, including Matula and Laskatova, that had, you know, WTA points. They had actually earned points on the professional women's circuit before they started their freshman year. And some other ones obviously were great on the ITF circuit. And now in the system of UTR, which is Universal Tennis Rating, which many players are being, you know, sort of rated on across the country, and everyone's rather aware of this concept. The #1 player, Laskatova, is an 11.7, and then the range all the way down to the #6 player is a 10.1. So the range of their top player to the bottom is going across UTR that way.
We zero in on court 5, where Ploner leads 5-4 in the second set after winning the first set. And has gone up 30-15 now. She's 2 points away from capturing the singles point in the #5 matchup. Monterez Yesicki charged with holding her off. Ploner now 1 point away from making it Tulsa 2-0 in the championship. This is after the first set went 7-5. Monterez Yesicki again drag it out once more. It'll be 30-40. She's just 2 points away from making it 5 games apiece in the second set.
Big forehand.
And another situation with that adjustment a few years ago to no ad. A lot riding here.
Receiver gets to choose which side they would like to play the point on. And that's a big statement there.
And instead of Tulsa finding its first singles court, it goes 5-all in the second set.
Yeah, just going backwards on a high roll, and she's got to give that plenty of safety so she doesn't miss that shot.
So with that development, let's jump to the opposite end of our 6 courts to court #6. This would be now Tulsa's best bet to take a 2-0 lead. Up 5-3, 15-all right now.
Oh, miss hit.
Again, Popey for Tulsa, Hollaback for SMU. Mentioned Popey in the 6th slot this week. Won both of her singles matches. Straight sets against Memphis and Wichita State. Looks to become a champion on this Saturday, celebrate a birthday next Saturday. Just a freshman.
Missed it.
Wide. 30-all. Popey up 5 games to 3 after taking the first set, 6-3. Hollaback also undefeated this week. But she made her tournament debut yesterday.
Yeah, that's a big ball. She likes to kind of play possum until she gets the forehand in the middle of the court that she can actually just clean house on. Little adjustment steps, nice open stance technique there.
So 30-40, this is your set point, which means match point for court number 6.
Good serve, nice return, good net appearance, great finish. It's just outstanding tennis there.
Deuce.
That's how you play match point down.
Has not made it easy for Popey. Remember, Popey still a point away from taking the rest of the weekend off. Second serve coming up for the sophomore.
Big cross-court forehand. Game, set, match.
Tulsa takes a 2-0 advantage here in the championship, needing just 2 more of the 5 remaining courts to fall the way of the Golden Hurricane. And it's the freshman from the Netherlands, Shura Popey, who captures the first singles competition point today.
Yeah, it's a great, aggressive return from a nice spot to a great target.
She will look on and see an overall scoreboard that favors Tulsa in its pursuit of a 3rd championship in 4 years. Tulsa took the first set on 5 of the 6 courts. Right now we're back at #1 singles, where Ksenia Laskatova has overcome a slow start in that first set. She would take it 6-4, but right now we are even 4 games apiece in the second frame.
Yeah, but she's now in much more of an annoyed frame of mind because she was up a set in 4-2 with opportunities to go 5-2. Couldn't close the door there, and now she's in a battle.
Matched up with Karina Traxler, who we've noted has played everywhere from 1 to 5 in this lineup this year.
Yeah, Traxler hit a big forehand winner to get it back to 4-3 and was able to just break it love. So there's a momentum shift on Traxler's favor right now in this match.
Long.
Rare unforced error on the backhand pattern from Traxler.
So Love 15, even at 4 games apiece in the second set, after Laskatova picked up the first set. Well, the next court again, and we've said this before, so forgive us for saying it again, would be court 5 perhaps. That could fall the way of Tulsa. Instead of taking it 6-4, it would go on to be 5-5. It's now 6-5. That's love 30.
That's a great shot. It's like
15-30.
the moment you think Ploner has a chance to close the door, then Monterez Yasaki just says, sorry, we're still playing.
How many times have we counted out Monterez Yasaki today? She's had her back to the wall.
Oh, she just missed it. And, you know, the opportunity was there. It was open, but the lefty spin curving into her body, she was just a teensy bit late on that, and that caused her to spray that ball wide. It's like a pitch, you know, on the inside part of the plate, and the righty missing it into right field.
A second serve. A fault here would make it 3-0 Tulsa overall today.
Oh, goodness.
The double fault will surrender. Another singles point over to Tulsa. This time it's the sophomore from Italy in Ploner. So courts 5 and 6 go to the Golden Hurricane, along with the doubles point today.
And what a turnaround here. Just on pride alone, Matula taking a look at the rest of her teammates getting the job done and feeling that she's the only one that doesn't have a set. And she's come roaring back with 5 games in a matter of about 15 minutes.
She dropped the first set 7-6 in the tiebreak. But here in the second set, as Mark just mentioned, she's taken all 5 games, 5-0. Realistically, her goal is to go unfinished.
And actually win the set, to be in the third set. And that's just big time combination there. Aggressive backhand, quick to move in and take that volley out of the air. Just love that.
Matula, the junior from Greece. She too with a birthday in about 5 days. Had the clincher against Memphis on court 4 when they debuted in the quarterfinals this week. Yesterday, picked up a win as well against Wichita State in straight sets. Today, the first time she's dropped a set this week.
Now we have an injury timeout at #1 singles.
Laskatova may have a chance to find that clinching 4th point, depending on when this #1 singles resumes.
Yeah, and there's still a set and 4-1 lead in #2 singles as well. So there's a couple other opportunities Tulsa has to get this done.
Again, Karina Traxler. Back to 4 singles. 15 serving 30.
She's just dialed in on the return. It looks almost like the sort of the lefty option of serving to the backhand should maybe be switched, and she should serve some more balls to the forehand, because the last couple of backhand returns have been so solid and well struck. She might need to change the topic.
Matula can claim the set here on this point. And do so in straight games. Won't happen just yet. It'll be 30-40. And still back to #1 singles, currently in a delay. We have seen courts 5 and court 6 both wrap up, each for Tulsa. Along with the doubles point, giving Tulsa a 3-0 lead. They just need one more court to go their way to become champions once again.
Here she comes again. Just great recognition and sneaking. That was a hell of a passing shot. It's just a ebb and flow back and forth on a lot of these positions, right? When one player gets game point, the other player raises their level. There's the second set for Matula.
She took it after it had reached deuce, but it'll be 6 straight games as she takes set 2, 6-0. And they become the first to embark on a 3rd set today. If Tulsa has it their way, it'll be the only court to go 3. Again, SMU needs to start forcing a 3rd set on some courts, and we're seeing perhaps a chance of that here on #3 singles. Shapovalova up 5-3 after dropping the first set 6-4. It has just narrowed now. Shapovalova's lead now down to 5-4. As we escort you back over to #2 singles. Our Tulsa leads 4-1. 30-all.
Could be a result of some of those long backhand-to-backhand exchanges that they've been slugging out in this position.
Make it 40-30 for the Mustangs, trying to claim their 2nd game in the 2nd set, trailing 4-1. Looking to make it deuce.
Yes, well constructed. Such patience and discipline, working angles, heights, direction changes until she finally gets the job done. Patience personified.
Well, note action is back underway on #1 singles after a lengthy delay.
And we'll see if there's an effect on Lesketova as a result.
Lesketova 1 game away from clinching an American championship.
Here we go, Karina.
And all of a sudden 3 points away. Lesketova for Tulsa. Ranked 26th in the last poll by the ITA. Against Karina Traxler.
And interestingly enough, Traxler, who had been wanting to play backhand to backhand the entire match, having that injury timeout on the left wrist, which is a key element in the backhand, just played that entire point with the forehand and intentionally hoping for a Leskatova unforced error as well. So clearly, whatever she was ailing, it's possibly changed the tactics at probably not the optimal time here.
30 love. And Leskatova is 1 point away from embracing her teammates as your champions in the American. It would be the third in her career. Tulsa took the doubles point. Took points on courts 5 and 6. Third time in 4 years, the Tulsa Golden Hurricane are your champions in the American. They capture the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament here in 2018.
And that's obviously what all these team sports are about. The experience, the importance of having everyone contributing. Nothing like having it fall on your senior and your top player when you need them the most.
Well, you saw Ksenia Leskatova fall behind Traxler early in that first set before it all started to click. For one of your top-rated competitors in the American. For Dean Orford, his 8th conference title at the helm of Tulsa, his 3rd in the American. And it's Tulsa who snaps SMU's 9-match winning streak that dated back to the Mustangs' previous loss.
Complete balanced attack, only lost 1 set. Obviously really sharp in all the different positions and a true team effort today and a lot of contributions from a lot of different people. Congratulations again to Coach Horford and Coach Lena.
This was a much improved SMU team that Tulsa faced from the one they defeated 4-0 in March. But they knocked off nationally ranked Wichita State in the semifinals. Today they were up against the host university. And a majority of the crowd cheering on the Mustangs, but Tulsa overcomes the number 2 seed, your champions here in 2018. Stick around here on our American Digital Network coverage, as in a moment, Haley Outen will have a chance to talk to some of our newest champions. Dean Orford once again leads his alma mater to a championship.
How impressed were you with your team's start today?
Yeah, it was a complete battle up and down, and it never went away, actually, even through the singles. I thought we were kind of fortunate in the doubles, but yeah, SMU, I've got to give them a lot of credit. Kati had a great tournament coming back from I think the 5 seed and getting to the final and battling tooth and nail. The score looked 4-0, but it was obviously much tighter than that.
Facing SMU here on their home court, how would you describe the atmosphere during this championship game?
I actually thought this was awesome. The crowd came out. It was obviously all for SMU, but I thought it's a great environment. Our girls embraced it. This is what it should look like. It was very good.
Your senior, Ksenia Laskatova, was able to help clinch that doubles point as well as singles here on one. How proud are you that she's able to go out on this note into the NCAAs?
Yeah. No, she's had a great year. And I still feel like she's building upon this. And her clinching it, yes, this is a cherry on top for her as well.
You mentioned to me yesterday that the sting from losing in this championship last year was still there. How are you feeling now?
Much better. Yeah, that's a wound that'll never heal, but yeah, this does soften the blow for sure.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Go enjoy this one.
Appreciate you. Thank you much.
Lincoln?
Thank you very much, Haley. Tulsa headed back to the NCAA tournament. They've been there every year since the run started in 2007. Countless conference tournament titles along the way for the South African head coach, Dean Orford. And Lincoln Rose, Mark Bay with you here on the American Digital Network. As Tulsa soon enough will officially claim their title.
And the girls are trying to get some of the boys from the crowd to come down and take part. That's one of the nice things about these types of tournaments where both men and women can play at the same location. They can cheer each other on, even if they're not valiant enough to get the victory. They can support their, obviously their classmates and fellow schoolmates in the competition. And the boys were cheering the girls on, which is a wonderful thing.
Ksenia Laskatova clinched it on #1 singles. She's now with Haley.
Ksenia, you had to battle with your partner to earn that doubles point. Where was your confidence level at heading into singles?
Well, I've been playing here for already 4 years, so I guess, and most of that was on the top of the lineup, and I think last 2 years were pretty good for me. So I guess winning a couple matches in the beginning and the middle of the season were pretty good for me, for my confidence. And also, my coach kept telling me to do the same thing that I already knew how to do. So it was pretty much easy just to go and put my game on it.
You were key for your team here in the past 3 days and able to clinch this match here on one. When you celebrated, how would you describe that moment?
Well, okay, first of all, I think I was not the key because I think the whole team did the job. All of us just stayed on the place, even the people who didn't finish the matches. They were still able to play and do their best, because if I play and I see someone is battling next to me, even if it's close, I feel better. So I guess it's a team win. And personally for me, I just wanted to go and put everything out there, everything I got. I didn't feel that much pressure as a senior, but still I wanted to do something bigger for the team for my last conference, and I'm glad I did it.
As a senior claiming your last conference championship, how does this accomplishment compare to the rest at Tulsa?
I would say that's a really great accomplishment for me because, as I said, it's always exciting to achieve something with the team, and especially because I feel like this is almost my last match, but it's my last conference, so I was really glad to get it out there and just get it with the team. That's just exciting.
Thanks a lot, Ksenia. Good luck in the NCAAs.
Thank you very much.
Lincoln.
All right, great to hear from now the three-time champion, Ksenia Laskatova. Let's listen in as the awards ceremony gets underway. SMU, your runners-up. Tulsa, your champions.
Accepting the 2018 American Athletic Conference Women's Tennis Championship Team Runner-Up Trophy is Ana Perez Lopez. Again, to the 2018 American Athletic Conference Women's Tennis Championship runner-up, the SMU Mustangs. And now, congratulations to the 2018 American Athletic Conference Women's Tennis Champions, the Golden Hurricane from Tulsa. accepting the 2018 American Athletic Conference Women's Tennis Championship trophy is Ksenia Laskutova. As I call each Tulsa team member, please come forward to accept your championship award. Alexandrina Shinikova. Roxanne Jancy Van Rensburg. Tamara Kukova. Ksenia Laskutova. Martha Matula. Martina Kukalova. Vera Ploner. Shura Kirby. Assistant coach Lenka Brusova. And head coach Dean Orford. Congratulations once again to the 2018 American Athletic Conference Women's Tennis Tournament champion, the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, the 2018 American Athletic Conference Women's Tennis Tournament Most Outstanding Player from Tulsa, Ksenia Laskutova. Thank you for supporting American Athletic Conference Women's Tennis. Congratulations to all. We hope to see you here again tomorrow for the men's championship match between second-seeded Tulane and fifth-seeded USF at 12 p.m. on the American Digital Network. Have a good evening.
Well, congratulations to Tulsa. As for a third time in 4 years, the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament, looking to make a run. Coming up soon enough for the Mustangs, a 9-match winning streak guides them to their first American final after the last 3 years, trying to get over the hump in the semifinals. Again, Lincoln Rose, Mark Bay, final thoughts, Mark, before we shift our focus to tomorrow's men's final?
Yeah, these are important moments. It's a culmination of a lot of hard work and energy, and gives these teams the confidence to go on and compete in the NCAA. So it's like a street cred to be, you know, the best in your conference and use that as a stepping stone. So congrats to Tulsa, and I think that they really deserved it, and they were the class, regardless of the home crowd and the momentum. They were just too good today.
We are indoors today for the women. We expect sunny temperatures for the men to be outdoors. It's going to be a noon Central start between the Bulls of USF, who have never lost a tournament match in the American. Standing in their way will be Tulane. But nobody could get in the way of Tulsa's pursuit of the championship here in Dallas. Big thank you to our entire American Digital Network crew, and for everybody who spent their Saturday evening tuning in. For Mark Bay, Haley Outen, I'm Lincoln Rose. Hurricane golden again in 2018.